I forgot to turn on the audio for this thing. Whoops. I sure hope that counts.
That's code blue.
There's that stylus. See if I can get this glitch to replicate. I have a funny feeling. I think it's tied to something I think it's tied to a timer that keeps playing while the game is running. Or at least that's the working theory here. But I have yet to reverse the engineer of the game in order to find something out like this. Thankfully, I know how to read C++ code. And, okay, I don't know assembly, but I do know C++ code. It wouldn't hurt to study assembly sometime. But if my theory turns out to be correct, then more than likely it's related to like a glitch that happened with King's Quest V, I think? Was it 5 or 6? Oh wait, it was 5. It was 5, because 6 was the one where Alexander was out to get his, was out on an adventure to find his bride, so. Or at least I think that's what it was. I forget. I got it! I know what it is. I know how to implement this and work this into a speed run. Oh! This is going to be an improper speed run because I'm a little slow with this, and unfortunately my Kindle probably wouldn't be considered speed run material, but I think I know. I think I got it. I think I got it. It's tied to how much time is spent on the title screen. That pushes this type thing back. Though, I bet you part of the what causes the glitch is because the fact that this Kindle is a bit slow. It uses a lot of processing power to record the video and run the game. Because this is like a 7th generation, or I forget. It was like from 2015, okay? It's an old Kindle. In fact, it was an old Kindle when I bought it. So, which really goes to show how much money I really have. Considering that I bought this when Pomida was going out, and no, wait, no, it was Shopko. It was Shopko. I bought it underneath the Shopko name. Whoops. Yeah, I blew the speed run there. Hopefully you're hearing everything in the background. The mic isn't just picking up my voice. But I think how slow the Kindle is also helping too. Because, there's only so much memory. I think there was like 250. No. There was at least about 800, 900 megs of RAM on here, which is almost 1 gig, but it's not exactly a gig. And the processor is like maybe 500 megahertz or something like that. I forget. It's under a gigahertz too, if I remember correctly. But yeah, see, this is where it is. This is where the other cutscene's playing. I think that's what causes the glitch, is the fact that there's a timer ticking up, and it has to reset itself, and when it resets itself, everything seems to get shifted over just a little bit. Or at least that's the working theory. I don't really fully know what's going on here. Like I said, I have to reverse engineer the game in order to know what it's doing. But maybe with the reverse engineer, maybe I probably wouldn't do such a bad thing either. Because I could be able to get this to work on modern systems as well, which I think is great. I mean, honestly, the game has a lot of spooky visuals and has a dark atmosphere to it. But honestly, I love it a lot. I mean, one of the things that I think this aged this game surprisingly well. Like, really, really well, in fact, if I had to say anything. It's, I know, it's rather interesting, to say the very least, that I do think that this game has aged pretty well, considering that it is made from 1997. And granted, I'm pretty sure there were some better looking games at the time that fit more stylistically, but honestly, I think they pit it perfectly in the terms of style. And a lot of people also say that this is one of the darker Disney games that was ever made, and honestly, I can understand why. I can see why. It definitely does have a dark atmosphere, and honestly, there's a lot of spooky things here. But you'll probably see a little bit more when I try to do the 100% route, which unfortunately has its own little complication, which I will talk about when I get to talking about it. But in the meantime, it's kind of amazing that I managed to get the glitch working. I'm sorry if it took me a while to do audio commentary for this, but like I said, I'm playing this on my Kindle. It's not very fast, but at least it's fast enough to run this game. Wait, no, maybe it's a 5th generation. Maybe it's a 5th generation Kindle. I forget. But either way, it works fine for this, and it works fine for retro gaming as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other DOS games that I can probably run on this thing without any hassle whatsoever. Though it does get kind of hot. Like I said, I think this game is a little too much for it, but with the fact that I'm also recording on top of it, yeah, it's still recording. Okay, that's good. But I have to watch how much memory I use, because unfortunately there's only so much memory. There's like 5 gigs of memory on this thing, and unfortunately, I could end up using all of it in a matter of minutes, because actually there's like 4.2 something gigs used. And that's even after copying all the files for the Android apps and such over to the SD card. Yes, I kind of unlocked this thing with the debugging, but, you know, it still has the Fire operating system on it, so. Hey, yep, puppies, yahoo, yuck! And Corella comes to chew out Jasper and Horace for letting the puppies escape. And now we're into the RNG hell of the run. The true RNG hell of the run, which is basically the minecart. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to let the game run for maybe like, I would give it like about 2 to 3 hours at tops. I don't know, I remember watching a whole lot of Ghostbusters episodes while this game was just running on the title screen on this Kindle, so I think if you were allowed to let it run on your computer, let it run 2 to 3 hours sometime in the background. Maybe play like Solitaire or something on top of that. Maybe do another speed run. Who knows? But, you know, you may have to let it run for a little bit in order to activate this said glitch. However, what causes it is still a bit of a mystery. Again, my working theory has something to do with something that, oh, what was the YouTuber called? The One Short Eye. The One Short Eye has said before about King's Quest 6 and, well, I mean, King's Quest 5 and a glitch that would allow you to skip the dialogue with the old man, which, by the way, happened to be the longest piece of unskippable dialogue in the game. Basically, it is a timer that uses a 16-bit int that is unsigned. And every single time it hits the maximum number for an unsigned int, it always reverts back to 0. If you were to go backwards on an unsigned int, though, just so you know. Dang, didn't get the first time. See why I call this RNG hell? There's also an interesting glitch here, too, that also doesn't allow you to lose. There's no bombs on the minecart, but yet there's another bomb there. Yeah, you can't lose this game. Literally, it's impossible. Like I said, there's also the cop route, too, where you can get out of the mansion that way. You can't lose this game. It's impossible. Though I did have a nightmare about a game over screen that would have been terrifying to any kid, really. It was terrifying to me when I was a kid. Yeah, that's its own creepypasta, though. Probably better covered in video like, you know, creepy kids games or something like that, you know? If you got any suggestions for that, just let me know down in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to take suggestions. But anyway, like I said, that's my working theory, is that there is a timer that's running in the background, and it is an unsigned int, more than likely 16-bit, because that was the era of when it was made, when 16-bit computers... Well, no. Windows was a 32-bit operating... Windows 95 and 98 were 32-bit operating systems too. But then, of course, it was also designed for Windows 3.1. It was also runs on Windows 3.1, which is the reason why it's so compatible with DOSBox. Because Windows 3.1 was nothing more than just a compatibility layer for DOS. Even though, actually, to tell you the truth, Windows 95 and Windows 98 were also extra system layers ran on top of DOS, and that's the whole problem with the 9X system. In fact, when it comes down to it, that's why Windows ME was such a terrible operating system. Unstable, unusable, and just didn't work like it should because it was running off of... I mean, it was running too much on top of the DOS layer that it wasn't able to run. Which is why Windows ME was more unstable than Windows 95 and Windows 98, despite the fact that Windows 95 and Windows 98 were also not the most stable of systems. It was probably a good thing that they decided to switch it over to NT systems. And woo! Now we're at a command line. Whoopee! The most exciting thing. I could type in 101.bat, but I don't know. I don't think I want to stay up later. So anyway, I'm going to end this video right here. Alright. And since I'm talking, I might as well just say, hey, if you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below. I think I figured this glitch out, and I think I know how to activate it. So that's all I'm going to end this video out on. If you want to share some of your theories about why this may work or how this works, please let me know down in the comments down below. And if you want to do some reverse engineering on the game yourself, then hey, if you have a copy already, then honestly, good for you. If you want to download it from the abandonware site, also you're more than free to do that too. I'm actually going to be sharing the copies that I have modified too. This one's modified to run off of DOS, which means that basically I have 101.bat to mount the D drive, actually, as the second escape folder, which is all the files off the disk. And for Linux, I also have it the same way too. Windows also the same way as well. However, you have to have it set in a specific directory. For Android, basically, it's basically off your primary file system for your internal storage, which is fairly easy to do because most phones don't come with SD card readers anymore, which is upsetting. Very, very upsetting to me, but that's a more personal story. For Linux, basically put it inside your home folder, and then for Windows, put it in your C drive, okay? So, yeah, without further ado, anyway, I better stop recording.